We're rolling. It's all going. Heavens to Betsy. So, yeah, welcome to That Pedal Show, number 1. So, my name's Daniel Steinhardt.
My name's Mick Taylor.
And we're going to take you through some very interesting, what we think is very interesting, things that are happening at the moment in the world of pedals. So to start off, I wanted to show you something really, really cool that I discovered last year.
We haven't discussed this.
Okay. So we're talking about reverb pedals, and I wanted to show you the BigSky from Strymon. Now, Strymon had a reverb pedal before this called Blue Sky, the smaller one, the El Capistan size.
Yes.
And then they brought out the Timeline, the world went nuts. They brought out the Mobius, the world went nutser. And then they brought out the BigSky. It's a reverb pedal, okay? But it does so much more than reverb. So first of all, we're using 2 amplifiers here. So first of all, we have the AC30. Then we have the Laser J. Right, so let's go with the AC30 because that sounds lovely. Here's the BigSky, just on a standard spring setting. It's really great sounding studio quality reverb. That's a spring setting, but then you go into crazy land, or like swells. It sounds really good with a bit of overdrive on it actually. It sounds
What overdrive pedal's that?
That is the Analogman King of Tone.
I see.
There is only one. Well, there can be only one, and no other.
How long do you have to wait for that, Daniel?
I don't know. If you sign up now, maybe your grandchildren might be able to get one. I think the waiting list is about 6 months at the moment. I will debunk this myth, though. I was over at Mike's in New York, out of North Connecticut, just outside New York, and I was there with one of the gentlemen who helps make these.
Hang on. Analogman actually exists.
Analogman is a real person. His name's Mike Pierre.
I knew
one of the coolest guys in the history of the world. And he invited me to come out. So I flew out to New York before NAMM and hung out with him for the day. And I talked to a couple of the guys who are building these, and that waiting list is genuine. You know, it's the guys are building this as fast as they can, but it's a complicated thing to build, and it is anyway. For me, it's just wonderful. One of the best overdrive pedals ever made. Anyway, so back to the BigSky. So that was the swell thing. Automatically swells up the note, which is awesome.
Sounds like Roy Buchanan.
Thank you. Then you have this bloom reverb, which is really great. And if I hit the tap really quick, the reverb sort of comes up behind it, so it leaves the attack of the note all intact. Then we have this cloud reverb, which is just... Great.
Those notes aren't on my guitar.
Aren't they? Oh, okay. Listen to this. This is the choral, right? And what I love about this reverb sound is they've actually put some oohs and human oohs and ers and ahs into it. Just check this out. Great.
So there are tiny people in the pedal.
There are tiny people that live there. Their sole purpose is to go... But isn't that brilliant? And then of course you've got this shimmer sound, which is just crazy. You know, it's wonderful. Then one of the coolest things, and this is the same feature as the Timeline. So it's a press and hold function. Isn't that nice?
It's very nice. I'll tell you what's interesting about this is not so long ago, no self-respecting guitar player on the planet would have a reverb pedal on their pedal board because guitar players are so funny about having to, it must be spring reverb and it needs to be in the bottom of the amp. But I think we're all seeing loads and loads more players prepared to have a really good digital reverb on their board.
Any idea why that is?
Well, I think it's something to do with the signal path. We were talking earlier, and Daniel is wowing me with science about how things get mixed inside a pedal. A lot of digital pedals apparently do all the straight signal processing and the reverb processing all together. This one does them separately and mixes them together. Am I correct?
Absolutely. So what Strymon have done, which is really good. So let me start again. So what Strymon have done really well is that the dry signal path in the pedal is analog, and it's a really good analog. So let me show you. So here's with the reverb on. Lovely spring reverb. Now I'll turn the reverb off. So basically that mix knob just goes straight through to the analog dry signal. Now I'll now bypass the pedal. It's spotless, absolutely spotless. So what happens then when you turn the mix knob up? The digital affected signal is being mixed on top of the analog through signal. Because of that, the analog through signal, it retains all of your the pick attack and everything. I think a lot of people, what they don't understand about the guitar signal is in your cable, there is a lot of information, okay? For example, you can tell when you've got dull strings on and we've got new strings on. You can tell when, with a different bridge, you can tell when you've got a different nut. You can tell when, if there's damp weather and the guitar feels a little bit more choked than it might normally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that information ends up going down the cable. Now, all that information, if it's going through a digital conversion, it's a lot of information to convert, okay? And the other thing with that digital conversion is it moves that AC signal, it time shifts it.
So you get a delay.
You get a delay. Now, it might be imperceivable. I believe it's relevant. Actually, one of the conversations I was having with Mike.
Could that chair squeak anymore?
I don't know. But let me try and So one of the conversation I was having with Mike about this stuff, because you can get lost in this stuff, and at the end of the day, does it sound good or not? That's the only question. But I was having a very interesting conversation with Analogman, and I said, Mike, a lot of people would think we're nuts, but I said I really believe that all this stuff matters. And he looks at me in the eye and he says, Daniel, I said, everything matters. I mean, to the point where when I have my pedals in G2, the switching system, I hard bypass the foot switches to take the foot switches out of the equation, because
in the pedals themselves.
In the pedals
you mean?
themselves.
Yeah,
I'll open up the pedal, I'll make a hard contact between the wires. Now, that's taking it to the nth degree, but I do believe it makes a difference. All those contacts, they have a resistance load. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. I'm
Just
sorry.
a slight sidetrack. Yeah.
So, that's what Strymon have done, and they've done it brilliantly. So, the timeline does the same thing. So, analog signal path retains that beautiful analog quality that's going into it, mixes the process signal on top.
Yep.
It's fantastic. But it's so much more than just a reverb pedal, Just so for a lot of ambient guitar players, I mean, it sounds beautiful. With for myself, when I'm playing in Tin Spirits, when I'm doing a lot of
shameless plug for Daniel's band, by the way.
You like that. So I do a lot of the textural stuff behind Senior TheGigRig.
Yeah.
And Dave just does what he does, which is awesome. And I need to provide because we don't use keyboards, I know I need to provide a large background so he can do what he does. So, Telecaster into the King of Tone, into the BigSky, into the Vox. Sounds like this. Let's go Telecaster, Stratocaster into the Laser Jack. Nice, isn't it? Now,
very nice.
It's beautiful. Take the reverb out. The core tone is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
But adding that on top. So it's not just an effecty effect, you know, to add a bit of depth to a core tone is beautiful, but then you can expand that and take it to places hence never seen.
Can you get me one of those crazy reverbs that kind of goes, ah?
Yes, I can do that. We have the technology.
On a clean sound?
On a clean
Is
sound.
that possible?
Yeah.
You can almost play some clever chords. Maybe G. I can actually hear people going, ah, in the background. Listen.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's really
The
nice.
last chord wasn't.
Well, you know.
So, Strymon BigSky.
Strymon BigSky, beautiful.
Nice.
Well done, Strymon.